Welcome to our third lesson in Excel 101 for financial modeling. This time we're learning how to format colors, how to edit fonts, how to align text, and how to repeat previous commands using the F4 key, which will be extremely handy when you're doing financial modeling in the future. So let's start by how to change the fill colors of our cells. You can see that the colors were originally in dark blue, but somehow it's now in a golden yellow color. We're going to change these back to our dark blue colors. So we want to select these entire cells, and as you've learned, what we want to do is we want to use the Control key and the Shift keys and the left arrow keys to move around and select the cells efficiently. But we don't want to select the A column, so we want to use the Shift keys and the right arrow key just once to select the cells that we want to change properly. How to change the cell color? The shortcuts would be Alt, H, and H. So I'm not sure why they designated, so the first H is for Alt Home, but I'm not sure what the second H stands for. But anyways, Alt HH changes the fill colors, and you could use the arrow keys to move around to select colors. If you have a color that you like, you can select and press enter. If you don't have a color that you prefer here, you could always go into more colors on the bottom. The shortcuts would be that you press the M key. That would lead you to a pop-up like this, where you could select a variety of colors. But anyways, in our case, Alt HH, we're going to select this cell here and press enter, which seems okay. Let's do a similar task for these cells as well. So again, Control Shift, and then the left arrow key, Alt HH, and we're going to select this color over here. Again, for the balance sheet, remember that when you're selecting cells, if you want to use the Control keys and the Shift keys simultaneously, if you want to use that trick, you can't start from here. And let's see what happens if you use the Control Shift, and if you go all the way to the right, it's just, it doesn't have anywhere to stop, so it goes infinitely. So the trick here is to start from the Z column and then go to the left by using the Control Shift and the left arrow key, and Alt HH to change colors. And here we have it. One last time for the cash flow statement. Control Shift, left arrow key, Alt HH, and let's change the colors. And next, as you can see, we want to change the font colors as well. So same for changing the font colors, you want to make a proper selection efficiently. That's task 1. And in order to change colors, the shortcuts would be Alt H and then FC for font color. So Alt H FC for font color, and again you can move around using your arrow keys and select your desired preferred color. In this case, we're going to select white, which is in the top left. For the income statement, for the section dividers, Alt H font color. We want to choose the dark navy color. Similarly, for the balance sheet as well. But here I'm going to tell you just one trick to the Excel shortcuts. The F4 key, what it does is it remembers what you've done just before and if you press the F4 key, it performs whatever you did just before. So remember that our last task was to change the colors on the balance sheet section divider. So this time, instead of going in and pressing Alt H FC, we're going to do the exact same selection, and let's press the F4 key, and you can see that it instantly changes the color of the font similar to what we did on the balance sheet. So it repeats your previous command, and this is going to be very useful. For example, if you've colored these cells, the moment you press F4, it's going to repeat our previous command and do the coloring for the other cells as well. So when we're doing our financial modeling courses in the future, I'm going to shout out F4 very frequently. Next, let's say that we want to change the font styles. So in this case, let's change the font styles for the income statement rows. So let's actually select the entire income statement. So I'm using the Control-Shift keys. I'm selecting these entire cells. I'm going to use the Shift-Space key to select the entire rows and try to change the font format for all of these cells. How to change the font format? The shortcuts would be Alt H F F. That's short for Alt H Format Font. And let's say we want to change this to Arial. So just type in Arial and press Enter. You can see that the font styles have changed. Again, Alt H F F, let's convert it back to Calibri, so CALIBRI, and it converts back to our original font style. And next we're going to learn how to align fonts. So let's see here. So you can see that these cells, the data are aligned to the left, which is very odd, simply because other data sets are usually they're aligned to the right. So we want to move these data cells to the right. What you want to do is you want to press Alt H again for Alt Home and AR for Align Right. Similarly, Alt H AC to align center, Alt H AL to align left. So the shortcuts are relatively easy. Just remember that for some versions of Microsoft Excel, the shortcuts can be slightly different. It requires some versions to press Alt H R2 for align right, or sometimes just Alt H R to Alt H R to align right. If you're using those kind of Excel versions, it's not a major problem because this is probably going to be the only shortcut that's different. But as of 2024 and 2025, most of the shortcuts when we want to align to the right would be Alt H align right, so AR to align to the right. So Alt H AL for align left, AC for align center, and AR to align right. So in this lesson, we've learned how to edit fill colors, cell fill colors. We've also learned how to edit font colors. We've learned how to change the font styles, how to align left to the center and align to the right, and most importantly, how to repeat your previous commands in Microsoft Excel.